Hello everyone. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, then subscribe to this channel. Pioneer for LGBTQ privileges Harvey Milk, brought into the world on May 22, 1930, in Woodmere, New York, was one of the primary straightforwardly gay chosen authorities in the U.S. and a notable figure in the battle for LGBTQ freedoms. His life, activism, and shocking death have made him an image of boldness and a hero for correspondence. Milk's endeavors during the 1970s served to establish the groundwork for future advances in LGBTQ freedoms and portrayal. Early life, Harvey Bernard Milk was the more youthful of two children brought into the world to William and Minerva Carnes Milk, Jewish migrants who claimed a little retail chain. Milk's initial life was somewhat unexceptional. He went to Straight Shore Secondary School, where he was a well-known understudy and partook in different extracurricular exercises. Subsequent to graduating in 1947, he enlisted at the New York State School for Educators, presently the State College of New York at Albany, procuring a degree in math in 1951. Milk served in the U.S. Naval Force during the Korean conflict, accomplishing the position of lieutenant, junior grade, prior to being decently released in 1955. Following his tactical help, Milk filled in as an educator, protection statistician, and specialist, all while wrestling with his personality in a period when homosexuality was vigorously trashed and condemned. Arousing to activism, Harvey Milk's excursion to turning into an extremist was slow. In the mid-1970s, he moved to San Francisco, a city with a prospering LGBTQ people group. At first, Milk didn't expect to turn into a political figure. However, his encounters in the city and the separation he saw against the LGBTQ people group persuaded him to act. In 1972, Milk and his then-accomplice Scott Smith opened Castro Camera in the Castro region, a local that was turning into a center point for the LGBTQ people group. The shop immediately turned into a social event place for activists and a middle for local area putting together. Milk's alluring character and authentic worry for the prosperity of his neighbors assisted him with acquiring ubiquity in the locale. Political profession. Harvey Milk's initial two endeavors to win a seat on the San Francisco leading body of bosses in 1973 and 1975 were fruitless, yet they assisted him with building a base of help. His assurance and developing impact locally procured him the epithet the city chairman of Castro Road. In 1977, running a mission that underscored alliance constructing and tended to a large number of social issues, Milk at long last won a seat on the leading body of managers, leaving a mark on the world as one of the main transparently gay chosen authorities in the U.S. Milk's residency on the leading group of bosses, however brief, sadly, was set apart by huge accomplishments. He supported many issues, including reasonable lodging, public transportation, and neighborhood security. Notwithstanding, his most prominent regulative triumph was the entry of an extensive gay privileges mandate for San Francisco, which restricted segregation in view of sexual direction in work, lodging, and public facilities. This milestone regulation was a basic step in the right direction for LGBTQ freedoms and filled in as a model for different urban communities and states. Milk was likewise an enthusiastic backer for underestimated networks, including the older, racial minorities, and association laborers. His capacity to fabricate wide alliances across different gatherings was a demonstration of his comprehensive vision and political insight. He accepted that the battle for LGBTQ privileges was inherently connected to more extensive battles for civil rights and equity. Unfortunate death. Harvey Milk's life and profession were unfortunately stopped on November 27, 1978. When he and Chairman George Moscone were killed by Dan White, a displeased previous city manager. White's activities stunned the country and highlighted the firmly established biases and pressures encompassing the LGBTQ privileges development. The preliminary of Dan White turned into an exceptionally plugged and dubious case. White was at last indicted for deliberate homicide instead of first-degree murder, getting a 7-year jail sentence. The merciful decision started shock and prompted the White Night Revolts, a progression of fights in San Francisco. The occasions featured the continuous battles for equity and the strength of the LGBTQ people group. In spite of his unfavorable demise, Harvey Milk's heritage has persevered. He has been post-mortem respected with various honors and acknowledgments, including the official Decoration of Opportunity, the most noteworthy regular citizen honor in the U.S., granted by President Barack Obama in 2009. Milk's life and work have been the subject of a few movies, narratives, books, and plays, most strikingly the 2008 film Milk, in which Sean Penn's depiction of Milk procured him a Foundation grant for Best Entertainer. Milk's effect on the LGBTQ privileges development is inconceivable. He roused endless people to emerge and carry on with their lives transparently, and his model has urged numerous LGBTQ individuals to seek after professions in governmental issues and activism. Milk's confidence in the force of perceivability and his call for people to emerge of battling biased stay strong messages in the continuous battle for uniformity. In 1982, the Harvey Milk establishment was laid out by his nephew, Stuart Milk, and his mission administrator, Anne Cronenberg, to proceed with his work and heritage. The establishment centers around advancing LGBTQ freedoms, schooling, and civil rights all over the planet. In 2016, the U.S. Naval Force declared that another oiler boat would be named the USNS Harvey Milk, respecting his administration and his commitments to social liberties. This choice was important for more extensive work to perceive LGBTQ people who have made huge commitments to the country. Harvey Milk's life is a demonstration of the force of boldness, validness, and the persistent quest for equity. As one of the main straightforwardly gay chosen authorities in the U.S., he separated hindrances and laid the foundation for people in the future of LGBTQ pioneers and activists. His inheritance proceeds to motivate and enable people to go to bat for their privileges and to battle for a more comprehensive and even-handed society. Milk's vision of a reality where everybody, no matter what their sexual direction or character, can reside transparently and unreservedly stays a directing light in the continuous battle for LGBTQ balance. Thank you for watching.